How's it going out there, everybody? How was your weekend? Man, I had a great weekend. It was a lot of fun. Went and did some antiquing. Made a video of it. I'm gonna have one coming out soon. Went and found some cool stuff. Watched a lot of football. Man, I don't know if any of you guys, how many of you out there watch the NFL, but the playoffs this weekend were fucking insane. Like there were 4 games. Every freaking game was close and every game was insane. Like each game just kept getting crazier and crazier and crazier. Like it was a great week to be a football fan. Like I don't see how next weekend can top this. There's only 2 games left, the AFC and NFC championship, and then take a week off. Is it 1 week or 2 weeks off? I can't remember. And then they'll have the Super Bowl. So that should be a fun time. But I was at work today, and I decided to listen to the Amico After Dark live stream in its entirety. I listened to it a little bit the other night after I got off the stream with Tony and them, and I tried to listen. I was on for about 20 minutes or so, and I was just so freaking tired. I couldn't really pay attention. So I just went to bed. I was like, man, hopefully this one doesn't get too crazy that they end up deleting it. Like I missed the last one, the one that everybody always talks about and got deleted. But this one's still up, so it's worth a watch. And I'm not gonna do what everyone thinks I'm gonna do and flip out and shit all over it. I'm not gonna do that. But I did make some notes, and I was gonna talk about a few things here. I actually that night while I was watching it, I reached out to Retro Bro. At one point, I remember he said something about NSG was not he's not an extremist. And I asked him if he thought I was too extreme for his live stream. Because I don't know, I kind of want to go on there. I mean, what do you guys think? Should I try to go on there? He said maybe. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know how the rest of them. I mean, I've talked to Retro Bro behind the scenes here a little bit. I mean, we've talked about football and stuff. I mean, we get along fine. We just disagree about the Amico. But I don't know about the other guys. I mean, I haven't always been the nicest to everyone. But you know, it's the internet. I got people making fun of me, making shit videos on me. I've got people making videos that I talk to minors and all this bullshit. So it's like, you know, it's no hard feelings. I mean, we're just fucking making videos here. So I don't know, maybe. I mean, what do you guys think? I mean, do you think I should try to go on there? Or do you just think it's not worth it? Just kind of curious what you guys think. But while I was at work today, I could only just grab what was near me, some cardboard. So I made a few notes. This is going to be a quick video because I don't have a lot to say. Everybody else has been making their videos. And there's a lot of information out there that you can get and watch it. But I just wanted to throw my 2 cents. And so it'll be a fairly quick video. And I couldn't really, I was sort of busy today, but at the same time, I had an earbud in. And I was, making notes, off on the side, when I had a moment of free time. And so I couldn't follow it, as closely as I would have wanted to. Sure, I could sit down and break it down and analyze every single freaking word, but just not really interested in doing that this week. So I just want to talk about a few things. So the first thing that I wanted to mention, which I think is really the whole main problem within television, Amico, and they talked about it. No Swear Gamer asked about why they don't have a fucking PR person. And each one of the everybody on his panel, who was on there? It was Rab, Geeks with Cash, Cyrus, DJC, Saggy, and Retro Bro. It seemed all of them were yeah, they need a PR person. They really need a PR person. They all agree with that. But I think you need to take that a step further. It's not just one of those things where you should say, yeah, they need a PR person. It's a massive fucking red flag that they don't have a PR person. And to kind of go back to the last video I did talking about people that shouldn't open their mouths when they don't, or shouldn't be critical when they haven't earned it, or whatever the fuck it was. They're not, criticism's not valid. And I started thinking about it. I was like, you know what? My parents started, especially my mom. My mom started a business. I'm not going to say what the business is because I'm not trying to put out there all my information. But she started a business. It's like I was about 9 years old when she started it. She was a teacher and she retired to raise my brother and I. And when my younger brother finally was old enough to go to school, she and her business, a good friend of hers, they started a business. It was a catering business. They ended up by the end of it owning like 6 properties, and this was back in Georgia. It was like these are like old buildings and stuff, like properties that were built in like the early 1800s, a lot of them, and ended up getting to the point where they won awards, like international awards. They were internationally known. I mean, it's really made my family a lot of money. So I do have that background of watching an entrepreneur like my mom. And then my dad eventually retired and started working with her too. And it really took off then. My dad's got a lot of talents that helped my mom and her partner really just make the company even succeed even better. So I have seen how to successfully start a business. And one thing that my mom and her partner they always had really good PR. They had a great relationship with like the press, and they put forth a great message. And I saw something on a video today that really, I think, makes a lot of sense for like what my mom did and what is wrong with in television, Amico. And the saying was, I'm not going to get it word for word, but something along the lines of, if you don't put out a message, people will put out a message for you. And that's kind of what has happened here. Like, there's not a coherent message coming from in television. It's just random and it's chaotic. And at one point, I remember Retro Bro said something like he talked to the people in television, and they were saying, I don't know if he was joking or not, but it didn't seem like it. Like, they were saying that, why don't you just be the PR person? Why don't you just answer the questions? And I don't know what Retro Bro's background is, but I don't know if he's really like a PR person. I don't know if he's the right one to be putting out the message, because a lot of people have problems with him, and I think a PR person should just be somebody that doesn't really have like their own thing going on. Like Retro Bro has all of his YouTube channel, and who knows if he's made enemies and whatnot, and in the past, like he's got this whole separate entity. Like a PR person should be somebody who works for the company, who doesn't have like their own outside message. Kind of the same way like I was talking about that Guido, which Retro Bro corrected me and said it's pronounced Guido. Still spelled Guido, but it's pronounced Guido, so fine, whatever, Guido, if I can remember to say that. Like he's got all these other sayings, or all these other tweets, we went all over it. I'm not going to go all over that shit again. All the political shit is not good for a PR person. So to me, it's like, yes, the I'm just gonna call y'all. You're the cult. I mean, you're the cult. I'm trying not to be like whatever. Okay, fine. You guys are the cult. We're the haters. Fucking deal with it. But fuck, I lost my train of thought. Yeah. Okay. We're back. Fucking drug head moment from my past, fucking fried synapses. So yeah, everybody in the cult agrees that it is like it's a bad thing that they don't have a PR person. And it's like they just kind of say that like as a way to say, well, we're giving them criticism as well. I think you need to take that a step further. I think it is a fucking massive red flag that they don't have a PR person. And it shows the incompetence of the company that everyone is telling them this, and they have had repeated PR nightmares over and over and over again. Like, why don't we have somebody who is giving the message, like a good person who works inside, doesn't have like a history outside. It's like you really only know them through in television, and they would be answering questions and putting out pressers and just having a nice coherent message and not engaging in mudslinging in comment sections or message boards. Like, I don't understand why in television hasn't fucking done that. And to me, it's as if, how does that not to the cult? How is that not just like have a fucking just, what would you call it? Like a flashers going off in your brain that something is not right here. Why am I defending this company so wholeheartedly when they can't even be bothered to hire a PR person and do something and do it, put out the message in a way that doesn't mean that they have to constantly fucking defend every step of the way, everything that television does. And NSG even mentioned that. And I've said that in my other videos. Like, in some ways, I feel bad for the cult members because they're literally getting ganged up on by everyone because they're more vocal than in television themselves. So everybody's coming at them with all this shit. Like, why not just have somebody that's like their only job? I mean, you're spending, I mean, what? We'll get into this too. Rab at one point said they're spending $800,000 per fucking month spending. Like, why would you not, it's in some way, have a PR person in all that? I mean, you obviously have the fucking money. And that I made a point here. I remember I was like, $800,000. Why the fuck do they need so many offices at that point too? Like, they have what, 5 offices? Like, if you're spending that much goddamn money, like, I don't understand. Like, it's another thing. Like, okay, so red flag, you don't have a PR person. Why don't they just have one fucking office? Or at the most, maybe if they need like an office over in wherever, overseas, outside of the United States, you could have 2 offices. I just don't understand the overhead of 5 fucking offices. Like, to me, it's as if that would be something that my 12-year-old son would think before he even like he's like running a business. We need all these offices. It's a total like children's way thought process of running a business. Maybe there's a reason why they would have 5 offices. I just can't understand why you would need that many. You haven't even released a product yet. Like, why would you not just have the one office where everybody is at just working and producing this thing? Because it's not like you have these other offices where you're doing things in this community or going out. Like, you're not doing shit. Because you don't have a PR person. You're not fucking doing anything except randomly putting out videos once in a while. Or maybe you got Saggy filming a video, like holding it not in portrait or not landscape, whatever, one or the other. Like the video is not of quality, not to put her down, but she's just a fucking YouTuber just filming shit. Like, that should not be how people are introduced to Finnegan Fox. You know, like, there should be actual professional filming at these events. I don't understand. I mean, you're spending all this fucking money. Like, cut out some of the offices and hire like quality people to come in there. Hire a firm that can just help to rebuild your image, because your image is so tarnished. Like, Tommy has just tarnished this image. He is hated by so many people because just the way that I've seen like posts and stuff even before in forums and things that he's been in, just getting into fights with people. So it's like he's damaged goods in a lot of people's eyes. So he just really needs to get the fuck away, and somebody needs to come in and really try to repair the damage that has been done. I mean, I think there's probably still time that you could do that, because this is still, yes, it's getting out in the gaming community, but it's not getting out into the community, which is, the gaming community is this little bitty thing. Like, there's a whole other bunch of people that are not fucking aware of the Amico And if you don't get like a good message out there now, like a professionally done campaign that just paints your system in the most positive light, where Tommy is just pushed to the back. Sure, he can still do his little interviews because they are entertaining. Like if he feels like he's got to do his interviews or his deep dive videos, I'm sure his talents can be used in other areas besides trying to do all the PR himself, because he's failing miserably. And it's like talking about like they were talking about, they kept saying like how fucking transparent Amico is. They're transparent. They're transparent in the way that they like blurt out all this bullshit that they probably shouldn't do. Like every time somebody has like a half-brain, half-cooked idea, Tommy's like, oh yeah, we can fucking do that, sure, yeah, why not? Like we could do that. Like sure, that's transparency. Like, oh, we're gonna have this, we're gonna have these kind of, this Toe Jam and Earl is gonna be on there. Earthworm Jim, all this shit. You know, we're gonna have like what NSG listed off like 30 fucking games that Tommy's just running his mouth saying that they're gonna be on the system. That was a really funny moment in the stream when Cyrus was like, explain the pile. And it was funny in Darius's video because he paused it right on that moment. It was just like in my mind, like, explain this pile of shit. Because that's what the Amico is. It's like, explain the fucking pile. The pile of garbage that has been placed here before us. But they're not really transparent, because you go and you look, there's all these stories. They're transparent to the wrong people. They're transparent to people that have like 400 or 500 subscriber channels. But they're so not transparent to the people that are literally investing in their fucking company. Like these people, there's all these stories out there where people are asking questions. And I saw the one where there was a guy had invested like $30,000 fucking dollars in this thing. That's a big time investor in your startup company. And he's like asking these questions, and I guess he posted them on Twitter because he didn't really know where else to fucking do it. Nobody responded to him for 6 fucking months. Like, how do you not respond to somebody? You should know who an investor that spent $30,000 on your company, when other people are like spending like $1,000, $2,000, $10,000. Like you got a big whale here of somebody spending $30,000. You should fucking know that person is asking you a question on Twitter. And I would think that if you were being transparent, then you would answer this guy's questions, because it was literally like something about, he was, what I may be confusing things, but it was something about his address, like switching an address and just having normal questions. You know, a lot of these investors are just asking normal questions, and they're all being lumped into like this hater category that Tommy just doesn't want to deal with, and nobody wants to fucking deal with. Like, there's no transparency there. Like, you're super transparent in areas that you fucking shouldn't be. And there is literally no transparency in areas where you absolutely should be. And you know, it just goes back to, it's like the whole UI thing. It's like they let all the cult members see the fucking UI, but like we're refused to let anybody else see it. Like for so long, it was like, no, we can't do that, we can't see that, we can't show that. And it's like you show the things that really don't fucking matter, but you don't talk about the things that really do matter. And it's just a strange way to run a business. And like, coming from somebody, okay, I might not be in the gaming industry, but I grew up in an entrepreneurial family who started a multi-million-dollar business, a super successful business. I mean, you know, my parents, they have money. My mom has passed away, but my dad still has all the wealth. I mean, her business partner bought my dad out. Like, he's got tons of fucking money, okay? He's fine. I don't hardly get any of that money, because that's not how my parents were. They were never like somebody who was just going to give money to their children. Certainly they have helped us along the way, but I've had to make my own way. But I helped in this business. I grew up working for them. So I've seen this shit. So I know what the fuck I'm talking about. And the way that they are running this business is sad. It's pathetic. It's not being done properly. And so other things I saw, something else, they talked about the play date having 3 delays. And NSG kind of talked about this. They're like, well, why are you not talking about the fact that the play date has 3 delays and blah, 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 and the Steam Deck? Well, these other companies aren't fucking acting stupid. They're not doing all these other things outside of the delays that are drawing all this negative attention to them. They're just kind of doing their own fucking thing, and there's not really a whole lot of other story. Like, either they just aren't giving out a lot of details, which, I mean, certainly you want to explain your delays every single time. And I'll be honest, I don't really follow a lot of that. I mean, I'm familiar with them, and I know they've had their delays, but they're not exciting to talk about. And that's why they're saying, like, well, they get a free pass. Well, the Amico would get a free fucking pass too if they just weren't so obnoxious and stupid, and everybody's just scratching their heads like, what the fuck are they doing? And like fighting in the comments. And they don't have like these other companies don't have like a group of people who have just galvanized around this product, and they can literally do no wrong. And like, sure, like once in a while you guys throw a little bit of criticism their way, but you always explain it away like, well, I understand, blah 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 blah. Those other companies don't have that, or if they do, it's to a very small degree. It's not like this. So there is so much other shit that is going on with the Amico that is why everybody is fucking coming at them, because you're drawing all this attention to yourself, unnecessary attention to yourself. And if you had a fucking proper PR person, like these other companies I'm sure do, they would be like in charge of the information that is being released, which the television just doesn't seem to give a fuck. It's like whoever can say anything, and it's like even Retrobro. It's like, yeah, just start answering the questions for them. Like they're putting him in, like, why would you want someone like Retrobro to do your PR for you at this point, when you've become so? It's just one of these things where it's like Retrobro has become like known as he's part of the cult. You know, like you wouldn't want somebody, like I said that earlier. You just want somebody who's just represents in television alone, doing that for you. There was another thing here. What Retrobro said something about, he said more than 50%. He was more than 50 people. In television, over 50% believed that they were going to get those Founders Editions out by the end of the year. And I just had some questions as far as that is concerned. Like, why would they believe that when they hadn't even started producing the systems? I mean, what kind of turnaround time do you have to once you start producing the systems to get them all together, to get all the Founders Editions made? Like, why would you think that you could get those fucking systems out by the end of the year when you haven't even begun making any? Like, I don't know. Like, I can't really speak to that because I don't really understand all the manufacturing process. But to me, like, how would you not know that you could or couldn't get those systems out? Like, I honestly I knew for a fact that there was no way that those systems were going to come out. A few people did, Turbo Joe being one of them, but I don't know. Like, that just seemed like a load of bullshit to me. And there was something about that, like the way he said that, like over 50%, but they believed that. And I think he was just speaking for them. I don't know if they actually said that to him. I don't think they ever fucking thought that they were going to get those things out at all. I think it's just one of those things where Tommy is so afraid of letting the people down that he doesn't seem to fucking care as much about the investors, like letting them down. But the people that are making these videos about him, like, he just can't stand that the cult members might turn on him and start making negative videos. Like, he just cannot handle that level of criticism, that he will just say whatever the fuck he has to say. Like, yeah, we're not going to make that October date, but we're really focused on getting that shit out by Christmas. And sure, maybe that, like, gets the people that are your YouTube friends something to still be excited about by the end of the year, but it fucks over your investors who are relying on any information from you, and they just think that, okay, well, he's gonna get that shit out by the end of the year. Well, that day comes and goes, and they never fucking say anything. Like, I guess they have. I mean, they've talked about it since then, but it was just radio silence on New Year's Eve, and I don't know. That to me was fucked up. Like that was just a stupid thing to do. Let's see. What else do we have here? Oh, Retro Bro said there are some people who won't believe anything in television says from now on. I think I got backwards. I don't know. I was gonna try to do this in a. No, maybe I'm right. Okay, yeah. And whose fault is that? Whose fault is that? And I think NSG talked about that a little bit. Yeah, there are definitely people now, and that list is growing because you keep making all these fucking false promises. You know, you just keep saying that these things are going to happen, yet then they keep changing. And sure, things will change over the course of time, and certainly, I guess you can say COVID. Sure, COVID did impact some things, but there has been many things that have been said that just are changing, or just were said and never happened. So your message, anything that you say at that point, I mean, it's like the little boy that cried wolf. You know what I mean? We all know that fucking story. So that's the same thing. It's like Tommy's. It's not like a negative thing where he's saying, "Oh, Wolf's going to get me," but Tommy, it's like the opposite. Like Tommy is saying all these positive things that are going to happen, and then the fucking day comes, and then no, that shit doesn't happen. Like, no, we're not doing that, or no, that date is missed, and that's why the fucking message. That's why people are not believing in television, and that number of people is growing every fucking day because they keep seeing all this shit that's being said. And then we're not getting to that point. And right there, that's why the fuck do you not have a PR person? A PR person, or somebody that is trained. And like Nick from Geeks with Cash was saying, like, yeah, you know, like people that are like engineers and stuff, they always fuck up that kind of a thing because they're not trained. They don't know what they're saying. Like Tommy, he's an artist. He doesn't know he just doesn't seem to fucking know how to do the thing that you're supposed to do of under promising and over delivering. The motherfucker just over promises beyond more than anything that anything I've ever seen. I mean, I was in sales. I had about 20 years ago, I had before I had a family and stuff, I had a door-to-door sales job selling lawn care, and I learned at a young age about how to make my customers happy. I mean, like, because I made a couple sales blowing some smoke up some people's asses, and it turned out that wasn't the case. They canceled, got pissed, and yelled at me, you know, and like, I don't want to be that kind of a salesman. So I tried to wow them with the production, the actual services. Like you kind of set the expectation. You don't want to promise we're going to get rid of all your fucking weeds immediately. You know, you just you tell them, set their expectations for them without blowing all that smoke up their ass, and then you send the techs out there and they do the job, and then they're like, wow, this is great. It's like I learned that at a young age, and like Tommy just hasn't learned that. And I posted another thought came in my mind about if the haters didn't exist. I think at this point, a lot of the fans who are the fans of Amico would be a lot less, because at this point, there have been two camps that have really just entrenched themselves. Like, I think if we weren't being all this critical, a lot of the people who love everything Amico does probably would be stepping away and seeing all the red flags and like, why the fuck is all this happening? But all the distractions of us making our videos, they're more pissed off at us than they are at Intellivision. So in a lot of ways, I think that we're helping to keep a lot of Amico's customer base intact, because they certainly don't want to say that we're right and give in to us. So in some ways, you probably fucking owe us. But whatever. I don't know. That was just kind of supposed to be something kind of funny. What else we had? A couple other things here. Cyrus at one point, he interrupted NSG. There was a lot of that going on. A lot of Cyrus kept interrupting NSG. They were pretty funny going back and forth. Like, NSG wasn't going to put up with any of Cyrus's shit. And Cyrus was getting mad. Like, Cyrus is really, like, he was getting triggered. Like, I think he has gotten too into this system. If I were him, I would take a step back and just, kind of not get so worked up over it, man. Like, there's a lot of other things. And he made a video saying that he's trying to look for things that are happiness. And I posted on his comment. I don't know if I'm blocked or not on his channel. Probably am. I said, I hope you find your happiness, man. I hope you find what makes you happy. And I do. Because I think that the Amico is just dragging that man down. But Cyrus brought up a point, like something. He's like, would you hold Nintendo to this standard? And NSG said, when did I ever say anything about Nintendo? And it made me think, because all of the time that it's like they only want to compare themselves to Nintendo when it suits them. It suits their argument. Any other time that we brought up Nintendo, well, we're not trying to compete with Nintendo, obviously. Like we're doing this other market. We're not trying to compare ourselves to Nintendo. Yet, time and time again, they will say things like, you don't hold Nintendo to these standards, or why aren't you getting mad at Nintendo for that? Like, which is it, man? Like, you can't have it both ways. Like, that just makes your argument, look weak. You can't say, we don't want to be like Nintendo, but then compare criticisms of us. Well, why did this like Nintendo, doing this to Nintendo? Like, that's just a bad way. It's a bad look. And it's something that if I were trying to defend the Amico, I would separate myself from. I don't like that shit. I hate that shit when you're using an argument and it's like, well, what about this? Why aren't you doing this? They do that shit on politics all the time, and I fucking hate it. We're not going to talk about politics. We're not going to talk about politics today. What else did he say? And this, the lag thing. Retro Bro got into this, and this is something that I have said, and I kind of see where he's coming from. A lot of people, the whole lag issue is, I know Leo Diaz is all about that, and he's probably got a lot more experience with that kind of thing and spotting. I can't tell, and I think for the majority of people who are just kind of these casuals that are following this aren't really going to be able to understand the lag. And like Retro Bro was saying, like, the lag will only matter once the system comes out. We can sit here and speculate and talk about lag that we see in these videos, but at the end of the day, I don't think the argument, sure, you can point it out and it's something to talk about, and you can say, well, there is lag, and, well, no, there's not lag. I don't see it. I don't feel it. I just feel like the whole lag shit will be resolved once the system comes out. Like, if that fucker comes out and there's noticeable lag, then fuck yeah, let's shit all over it. Be like, you guys don't know what the fuck you're doing. But at this point, it's one of those topics. It's like talking about like abortion or something. Like, once you start talking about that, like, the fucking argument's done, because everybody has their own opinion. And like, the whole lag thing is just such a hot button topic. Like, if we mention lag at all, like, there's no fucking lag. So that's one of those things where it's just like, I don't know, man. Like, I sort of agree with Retro Bro on that. Like, the lag thing will fucking be a problem once the system comes out. But I'm not somebody that's not really what I'm about in this thing. I'm not really a technical guy. I'm more of a psychological guy, I guess you would say. I'm more interested in the psychology of this entire fucking thing, with the cult and the haters dynamic, and just the way that Tommy is, like the decisions that Tommy makes, the decisions that in television make, that just to me seem very bizarre. Like, that's what I'm into. So the whole lag thing for me is just kind of a non-issue. So I do tend to agree with Retro Bro on that. And then this was a little thing right here that kind of irritated me. OEB Pete, Classic Gaming Fun, as he is known now, was in the comment section. They were talking about the you know, those stupid fucking globes of games, and it shows all the games in your library of all the ones you don't have, and it's like they're not highlighted or they're not lit up, and it just let all the fucking kids will look at it and be, I want that game. I need to complete my collection. And you know, everybody was kind of agreeing that it's not the best thing, especially if you're trying to be family friendly. And OEB Pete, which I've been pretty easy on him, but I don't know. I thought this was a shitty comment from him. He's just like, be a parent, end of story. And that was, I don't know, I just thought that was a fucking shit comment from him. Because, yeah, sure, any of us can be parents. We can fucking yell at our kids and be like, no, you're not getting that shit, now shut up. But that's not really what the Amico is about. You know what I mean? The Amico is a friend, OEB Pete. I don't want to have to keep hearing my kids fucking whining about that bullshit. And I don't want to have to keep telling them no. I gotta tell them no on a lot of other fucking things, you know? Like, what if they want to have a system, that's their time to, like, have something to play. Maybe it gives me a free moment to do something else. You know, I don't have to entertain my kids at that moment. Or if we decide to play together, I just want to have a good time playing with them, and I don't want to come across, Dad, can we buy these games? I want these games. And you, no, I don't want to fucking buy those games. I just thought that was a bullshit comment, OEBP. Like, be a parent in the story. Like, don't tell me how to fucking raise my kids, man. Like, don't, that shit, that rubbed me the wrong way. So, and then really the only other thing that, like, I had written down, like, that I just thought the whole thing, it was kind of annoying. Like, I felt like No Swear Gamer is, he's the kind of person, you know, he was coming on that show, like, yeah, he'll joke here a little bit, but this was kind of a serious thing for him, you know. Like, he wanted to come on here, he wanted some answers, and time again, the panel, especially when No Swear Gamer was talking, would just blurt out jokes and start laughing about things that really were not that funny. And I thought that was just kind of annoying. It was almost like it was done in a way to try to throw him off, or I don't know. I kept hearing that, and I just thought it was, I'm not saying that this was like a professional thing. I would have just liked to have seen, there is times to be funny and cut up and act crazy in a live stream. And I think there's other times, I felt like this was a little bit more of a serious live stream, and that maybe the panel wasn't the best representation of that. You know, I just felt like that was kind of the thing. And I felt like some of the topics that were being brought up were really just kind of like pointless topics. Like, I mean, you've got somebody here who's NSG, who's coming onto your stream, and I don't know, in some ways I felt it was kind of disrespectful, but I mean, what the fuck do I know? I make all sorts of bullshit jokes too, so, but I would have just liked to have seen a little bit less of that. I know you were trying to make a stream that's entertaining and laughing, but sometimes shit is just as entertaining when it's more serious. I mean, sure, you can kind of make some jokes and crack some jokes here and there. Try to do that, like, in between segments, not when they fucking right in the middle when somebody's talking, like when No Sort Gamer was making his point, and it's like let's talk about like that. I just thought that was kind of annoying. Kept pulling me out of it. When maybe at certain points when I kind of feel like, you know, the cult, you know, they're hearing some of what he's saying, and they're conceding some points to him. But then immediately once you start doing that shit, I'm just kind of like, ugh, you know, it just turned me off a little bit. But I don't know. It was entertaining, and I mean, to their credit, I mean, to Retro Bros' credit, he did have somebody on. You know, where nobody else is really doing that. Nobody else is really having that discussion. I mean, I've tried. I was on No Swear Gamers stream with Saggy and Max, but you know, I would like to talk to some of these other people that know it more. I really like to have to talk with Retro Bro and kind of pick his brain, or maybe Nick, or you know, even Cyrus. I don't know if they want anything to do with me with some of my videos I made. Like, don't take them personally. Like, this is just entertainment at the end of the day. You know, it's a hobby. It's something fun we can put out on the internet, and you know, people are gonna watch it or people aren't gonna watch it. Like I said, I've got all sorts of fucking crazy videos out there about me, like saying all sorts of fucked up shit, and I just roll with it, or I don't pay attention to it, or I don't watch it, or I laugh at it. So it's like, don't take the shit so seriously, because that's a whole lot of thing with Cyrus. Like, he just keeps coming back like, why are we just being so mean to each other? Like, dude, it's the fucking internet, you know, and people are gonna make their videos, and you know, the more of the drama shit is, it gets more clicks. People are gonna engage with that more. So, you know, I just wouldn't take it so hard. Like, I think Cyrus just needs to step back and just stop being so sensitive about everything. Like, just don't watch the videos that are out there about you if you can't handle it. That's what I do. If I'm having a bad day, I don't fucking look at anything. But if I'm feeling like I want to be a little bit confrontational, I'll search Dazed Gaming on the internet, on YouTube, and I'll see what's out there about me. Like those weird fucking videos that people make that it's either like Darius talking or Leo DS talking, and then they'll say all this shit where Dazed Gaming is a hypocrite, blah, blah, blah. Like, I'm trying to not engage with those anymore, but some days I just can't help myself. I just want to laugh at them. But if I were at a place that it was really bothering me, I just wouldn't pay attention to it. I mean, we can choose what we allow to come into our minds. But that's pretty much all I have to say. I guess this went a little bit longer than I thought it was. I was gonna do this on the and playing an arcade game, but the arcade was too loud, and there was no way I can't play and talk at the same time. So, but anyways, guys, thanks for watching. I hope all of you have a great week, and take care.